Hi folks, Sam back here. Working on my XR10 build. The last build where I built the motor on axle with the gears was a little longer than I anticipated, like I had said at the end of my last video. But so I went ahead and started finishing up the motor on the axle. I got the axle put together primarily. Together. So I think tonight I will start with the C-hubs and the steering knuckles. The axles are in place, but they simply slide in to that gear, and I will take it from there. So thanks if you watched the first video. Thanks for watching. I know it was rather tedious, but thank you. Okay, so as you can see, I got the servo mount in place on the axle. I got the axle put together. It does spin. So we're gonna go on to the next step. Next step is simply the steering knuckles and some bearings, which I will add a little bit of grease to. I do tend to use gloves when I'm using grease, simply because it's easier to clean up and move on to when I don't need grease. So I just add a little bit. Just a little bit to keep it a little bit protected from elements. Alright, so the steering knuckles have these small washers that go on either side of the steering knuckle. They can be kind of tricky to keep in place. I do love my new drill. There. So the axle, minus the hex nuts that actually hold the wheel in place, is complete. But instead of that being the next step, for some reason, the steering linkages are next. These are small tie rod looking things. These are specified, I believe, 11.5 millimeters in width after the rods are put on. This is a great tool. Can't remember exactly what it's called now, but it's great for measuring small lengths digitally. Caliper, something like that. But it works good, and this is how I measure my tie rods, not tie rods, but linkages of all kinds. Hold it in place. But these linkages, one way goes clockwise to tighten, the other way goes counterclockwise to tighten. And I believe it's the side, with the slash through the nut. That's the counterclockwise side to actually tighten. Alright, so now you take these little buggers here. See this way to focus. That goes inside the linkage in the eyelet. I try not to use pliers because they can snap or twist the eyelet itself. If I can get away without using pliers, I do so. There. So that's what it looks like completed. There's two for the front steering, because this piece here, this actually is the steering linkage. Once it's hooked up, there'll be a bolt here holding the linkage in place to slide it back and forth via the servo. I want to measure it, make sure it's 11.5. The measurement on this one is 11.5 in between there. Which can also be done with this side of the I got 10.7. So okay, I think that'll work. That's 11.4. That should be fine for what we're doing here. Alright, so there, that's done. Those two linkages are in place. Okay, so I got the front axle pretty much all set. I just need to add the hexes for the wheels. The next step in the project is to work on the rear axle. There, aside from the steering linkages and the steering knuckles, the servo holder, servo mount that is, there aren't any differences between the front and rear axles. So I'll be building the rear axle completely off camera and save you the pain and agony of watching that. So thanks for watching. I'll just add this to the beginning of my next video because my last video was over 12 minutes long, I believe, and I'm not making a 1-minute video just for the finishing touches of the front axle. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Thanks.